You have to warm up before a performance. We're performing here.
We're your monkeys.
La, 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 la. That's where we put all the messed up parts that we messed up. We'll just put it at the very end. Be like, okay, you watched it all the way through, which is impressive, and thank you.
Yeah.
And then you get to see it at the end.
Oh yeah, all tens of you really appreciate it. Holy crap. I can't even believe we even have that many viewers, to be honest. So thank you.
Hey, we
Thumbs
have
up.
like 30-something subscribers.
I know, it's
We're
freaking
doing
awesome.
good.
I'm pretty excited. I mean, I was excited at like 2.
I know, it was exciting. Every time
Yeah.
you get another one, you're like, yay!
Yeah.
People actually care what I have to say. I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah. You know what we didn't do?
What?
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show!
Oh yeah, we are back, and this is episode number
3.
3.
I almost held up 2, but it's a 3.
This many. Wait, no.
That's
this,
2.
This many.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yes.
When you flip off, do you put your thumb out? I always did. That was
Well,
like...
this is flashing the bird, and this is just a good old fuck you.
I didn't know there was 2 different things. I thought
Just
you
for me.
either
They're
put...
just for me.
Oh, just
for
your...
me. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I'm just fucking weird that
Okay,
way.
because I'm like, we always put our thumb out.
Yeah, yeah.
But it looks like we're like... How can we flip you off words? My fingers are weird anyway, so when I'm flipping people off, they're probably like, what the heck? Like, what is that? I don't get it.
Oh, man. All right, so today you chose
I did.
a
Well,
movie.
no, wait. I got a request from my best friend, and she said, you know what you should do? You should do Empire Records. And I said, I have never seen Empire Records before.
We both work there now.
And now we're employees. And
Yeah.
she said, well, I guess you have to do it. And I was like, I'm down. So this was my first time
Ever watching a
watching
movie.
ever. I never even
That's
heard of it.
Awesome. Yeah, I've watched this. So this is like, not like one of my favorite movies of all time, but one of my favorite cult classic movies
It's
of all
a
time.
staple.
So I've watched this movie maybe half a dozen times with the kids.
Yeah.
So the kids have watched it.
Yeah, so they're all into it too.
So we went to go watch it the other day. Again, and Ethan's like, this has ads. I'm going upstairs. This is bullshit.
Oh, he was mad that there was
Yeah.
ads. I know.
Yeah,
I had to watch
yeah,
it with the ads.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I'm like, wait a minute. I think I have it on DVD. And he's like, if you find it on DVD, then I'll watch it. So I dug around and yeah, I have
You found it?
I have it on DVD.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm not, honestly, when I go back and watch movies, especially when I'm not in that mind frame, like since I didn't see this teen movie as a teen,
Right.
I thought I wasn't going to like it, or I thought I was going to cringe at it. Oh my gosh. What? I can't believe I went this long not knowing about this movie.
You know why you didn't
Why?
get to see this movie at all? So Warner Brothers, when they freaking greenlit this, they were gung-ho about this movie. Right at the very end, they did a test run with a small audience, a single test run in the Midwest somewhere, and it didn't do well. And because of that, they only put it out at 87 screens in 4 theaters
That's all.
in the entire country.
The whole time that was it?
That was it.
Then how does so? Because I feel like when I mentioned it, when I said, "Hey, Empire Records," everyone goes, "Oh," and like kind of
Because
gets
it
excited
ended up
about
being
it.
really a real good movie when it got picked up on DVD.
So it was one of those like we bought it and watched it over and over and over again kind
right,
of thing.
exactly. And then it ended up in Blockbuster.
Oh, Blockbuster.
Good old Blockbuster.
R.I.P. Blockbuster.
Yeah, actually, the first time I saw it, I saw it in,
You rented it?
Blockbuster. I rented it
How
at Blockbuster.
funny.
Yeah.
And the thing with this movie is I was afraid at first. I was kind of like, oh, am I going to like this? Is it going to be cringy? Because sometimes things are cringy. And I think this came out in 1995. I was shocked at it. And it was so, I'm not going to say ahead of its time, but as far as like teen rom-coms go or teen movies go,
Yeah.
it was completely different than anything I've ever seen before.
Because it was intended to be a kind of a nod to record stores, but kind of a spoof at the same time, but
Yeah.
not really a spoof.
Yeah.
So
Well, the person who wrote it worked in record stores. She
Right,
was
right.
like basing it off of her time
at a record store.
at the record
So
store.
I remember, I mean, obviously not the singing and dancing, but I remember going to record stores regularly and getting my CDs from there.
Yeah.
And even at some point getting tapes from there.
Independent ones that fell, or was it, or did you go to a big chain? Because that's
So
what they're fighting here.
Here in town, we had one. We had Tower Records here for a little while.
I didn't live here.
Oh, that's right, you didn't. We had a Tower Records.
I'm new here.
It was awesome because you'd go in, and just like they had there, you could listen to the music before you bought it. So they'd
you know
open
what,
the
though?
DVD up.
I think isn't that not weird, but I think it's funny that back in the day when you would go to a music store, even the mall or everything, they'd have little headphones and you sit there and you're like, just in front of everybody.
Yeah, like that's really good.
Like,
maybe
what is she
I'll
listening to? Like, who knows? But they're into it.
Yeah.
I always thought it was weird, or I guess I couldn't really fully enjoy the music because you're almost like on display, or people are kind of like
I suppose
looking
so.
at you.
Yeah.
And so it kind of creeped me out a little bit, but it was funny seeing it in this movie. And then also they had the booths, which I've never seen before. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's a new thing or...
No, I've never seen the booths before.
Where you could go in the separate booths and listen.
Booths,
that
would be kind of cool, actually.
That would be cooler.
I'd feel a little more private.
Yeah,
like
because you're not...
room, but it also turns into, apparently, makeout sessions.
Well, of course, okay.
For all these kids.
Of course it does. Who...
a bunch of high school kids. So yeah, that makes...
It's a kids movie. Kids are going to be kids.
For
kids
sure.
are going to do that. I guess technically they're not kids. Well, some of them are teens in this, and some of them are adults. But they all have this common... Or it's so cool because it's...
Adults being like in their early 20s.
Early
Maybe
adult.
some of them even like 18, 19.
But Lucas is probably the oldest, and he's 21.
Lucas is probably the oldest, and he's 20.
And everyone else is 17, or they're ready going to college.
The dude in the band, what's his name?
Burgos?
Yes.
Who, you want to know this fun fact that I found out?
What?
He was Liv Tyler's stepdad when he was filming this movie. They were stepdad and stepdaughter because the actor who played Burgos was married to Liv Tyler's mom when they did filming. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Or isn't that like a weird...
Do you know the music in there that he sings is actually his?
Is it?
Yeah, he has a
cool.
band. It's his band, and his name is Coyote Shivers. And his band name is Coyote Shivers.
Oh, why not? If that's your name, you have to
go
name
with it. I mean, it sounds like a band name.
I was gonna say, like, not only is your name awesome, so it's like, why wouldn't you go ahead and just use that as your band name?
Right.
Which also in the movie, that's exactly what Mark did. He just changed his K to a C.
It went all over the place. So the story itself is interesting because there's not really a main plot until later on. You kind of catch on that, oh, he was trying to buy the place.
Yeah,
it's
at
a
first
bunch
you
of
don't.
subplots.
There's a lot of little subplots, and
all subplots.
It all comes together at the end, and you kind of don't know what's going on. But what I really loved about it. Okay, wait. First of all, who's your favorite character on?
Oh shit, that's really fucking tough. Because I really liked a lot of the characters on this. I mean, I really like Joe.
Yeah. I
really like Joe because he's so chill from all the bullshit that's going on. Even though he rolls his eyes every 2 seconds. He is like the king of chill when it comes to everything happening.
Joe's not my number one favorite, but he's my second favorite because, and usually when there's movies like this,
you're gonna say fucking Lucas.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna say Lucas. Oh my god.
I wanted to kill Lucas about 10 times in the beginning.
My god, Lucas. And at first you're kind of like not sure, but then he started. It's just. I don't know. There was a thing about Lucas, and I was like, he's number one to me. I liked his vibe. I liked the person he was. Joe was cool because he was an adult in this situation.
Right.
And he treated they treated the kids or the staff
with respect.
Which we never ever see.
No, it doesn't happen.
It never happens. It's always some like Breakfast Club scenario where there's like a principal or somebody who wants to bring everybody down and we hate kids and it's too loud and we're footloose so don't dance, and it's like no one's ever on their side. But in this one, Joe had their back.
Right.
He had their back the whole time.
He did, absolutely.
I like that. I like that aspect of it because it didn't matter. And that was cool too, the dynamic of the characters. They all were weird or they all had their thing and they just all were okay with it. You know, there's some little tiffles here and there, but it's like, hey, like, or even when Robin Turner, so Deb, who plays Deb, when she shaves her head, they kind of make a comment about it. Like, Gina's probably mean about it, but they have that dynamic because they hate each other.
No, they kind of hate each other in
the
story.
But they know that.
But that was the idea of the story, right? You get all these different little, like, every type of stereotype you can think of in high school other than the jock. Well, actually, I take that back. AJ was kind of like the jock.
AJ would be jockey.
Yeah.
But you still didn't answer the question.
What's that?
Who your favorite?
My favorite is Joe.
Is Joe? Okay, then
Joe.
Who's your least favorite?
You know, what's her name? Where is she at? She popped in for a minute. Other than Rex Manning, Maxwell Caulfield, I really didn't care for him because he came in as the douche.
Yeah.
And he kind of played that role the entire time.
But he did do good in that role, I guess, because that's what he was trying to do. He played the douche really well. The kid that played Warren
blew these quarters down.
His acting kind of pissed me off. It is.
Did he?
fucking wanted to punch him in the fucking
I liked it because he was. I think they
Warren
were like go all out, and he was like
damn much.
He was like, okay, I'll go all out, and he went all out.
Yeah, and then the probably my least favorite, also because he's the fucking bad guy, is I don't even know what the actor's name is. The guy who played the owner.
Mitchell?
The guy who played the owner of the store.
Yeah, Mitchell, I think, or Mitch was his name.
Is that his name?
I did learn
Ben Bodie. No offense to you, Ben, but the role was meant to make you as an asshole.
Well, that was what it was supposed to be.
And you were an asshole, so you played the asshole well, I suppose. But yeah, those are probably my two least favorite.
I would say my least favorite is AJ.
AJ?
Maybe because his sub-story plot is I mean, it's perfect for a teen rom-com because we all need that love story or that romance.
Yeah.
But it just kind of like, he was like, I'm going to tell her by noon. And it's like, no, I'm going to tell her by 1. It's like, no, I'm going to tell her by 1:37.
That's literally high school.
I know,
high,
but
you're
then,
like, oh, I'm going to go tell her that I love her. But it never happens.
But he does because he has to right now because it's 1:37. And she's literally in tears being leave me alone.
Look, I really have to tell you something.
Not now, please.
Now.
And he's like, I have to tell you right now. Why? Because you set in your head that you have to do it by 1:37. Like, give her some space. She's kind of like not okay right now.
Right.
You know, like if you love her so much and she says, hey, like.
But I remember this, when you got that stuck in your head that I have to do
it,
it really makes no difference what's happening at the moment.
I know, but I think it was disrespectful for him not to listen to what she had to say. And he's like, I love you so much. It's like, if you really love me, let me have my minute because I'm freaking out over what just happened to me. I think that was the only thing I didn't like about this movie, and every other part was literally fantastic. So I think AJ was my only...
that whole subplot of him professing his love to freaking to Liv Tyler to Corey, the entire movie was kind of silly.
But also you need it, especially in the 90s. There always has to be a heartthrob, and there has to be a love story.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I understand why they put it in there because it's for teens, and you know, as teenagers, like that's what you're always thinking about, or you know, there's romantic people around, so it's like, yeah, I love the love story part of it. And if I watched this when I was 17, I would have been all about it.
For sure. So one of the other odd things about this movie that I noticed even when I first watched it was, other than the Cranberries, I never heard any of this other music. Ever.
Any of it?
I started listening to the soundtrack of this after the fact. I pulled up the soundtrack, listened to it on whatever music, Apple Music, and I'm like, you know, I don't know any of these bands other than the Cranberries. I'm like, well, that's really freaking odd. And then I started listing all the bands that I remember from back then. I couldn't finish it because the list was so fucking massive. I'm like, there's just no way that I'd never heard any of these fucking songs. Maybe one or two of the songs, but never heard of the band.
The soundtrack did better than the movie did. The soundtrack
monetarily
better than the movie. But if you're gonna make a movie about a record store, I mean, the soundtrack has to hit. But also, that's the thing. When I mention this movie, everyone says the soundtrack is amazing.
But it wasn't to me.
You don't think so?
I think it was good for the movie because the reason why I liked it, because every song fit the moment.
It fit into what it was supposed to.
So that song specifically, like the Cranberry song specifically called Liar. Yeah. It fit the moment when, I think it was for Lucas, right?
But I think they took the time to make it like that, and I think that's why it did. Probably that's why the soundtrack did so good, because somebody took the time to fit these songs into each moment to give you that kind of feels. They went all in with it, which is good because it's about a record store.
Right.
The music can't not hit on it. But I would say there's probably like 1 or 2 songs I didn't recognize, but most of them I did recognize.
Well, one of the songs in the song Money that played specifically for Lucas.
Okay,
right?
Was that when he?
That was not in the soundtrack.
It wasn't on like the.
I pulled it up through the soundtrack and I couldn't find it in the soundtrack.
When they call him in Employee of the Month and they play the Money, or was that?
Money, that's what I want.
That was funny.
It was hilarious, but I couldn't find that on the soundtrack.
They might not have put it on there because maybe that was sort of like that was a parody kind of situation.
It was.
That I noticed that too. It's like Gina wasn't my favorite character, but my favorite thing I loved about Gina was she would get on that PA and say what was going on.
Attention, Rex Manning's fans. To your left, you will notice a shoplifter being chased by night manager Lucas.
The whole announcing portion where she was talking about when he was shoplifting was fantastic.
But every time something's happening, she gets on there and she starts doing the PA system and like announcing it to the whole thing, and that was that a little hidden gem in there that I really appreciated, and it was always her. So, like, I feel like that was kind of her role. She's like, I'm the announcer of this store.
I don't know if this was her first role.
I know, because she was in Dazed and Confused, and that came out before this.
She was. Yes.
This was the debut of her first time singing. She never sang until this movie.
Right, and there's an extended version of that song with her singing.
With the whole song?
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I liked the song, too.
There's no way that she's singing this. Like, no, it's actually her voice in the whole.
And I knew, it was weird because watching it, I'm like, who is that? I know who that is. And then it's like, oh, it's Renee Zellweger, and it's like, she obviously looks different now. But here's the most important question.
What's that?
Would you lose your virginity to Rex Manning?
Fuck no.
You don't think so?
No.
When he grabs the blue cheese, she's like, I hope you like blue cheese. So she just runs out terrified.
That was actually probably the only thing that he did that I thought was kind of, in a gross way, admirable.
So you're saying he was cringe the whole time?
I was saying he did that bit in order to get her out of the room.
Yeah.
Because
I think
he
so
knew
too.
He didn't want to, and she didn't really want to.
Which was great because she was 17. She's like old enough. I'm like, okay.
Okay, not like quite. Exactly.
So
as douchey as that moment was, I feel like it was intentional to get her out of the room.
But then does it all go away when he hooks up with Gina? How old is Gina? She's 17 too. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Where's the line?
Just because she guessed what kind of underwear he was wearing, he's like, that's the one. That's it. I'll do,
Yeah,
it's weird because I kind of thought that too. I'm like, oh, he's trying to shoo her away. But maybe
I thought because she was a kid, but then you're right.
But
he does bang Gina.
He goes with Gina, so he's not shooing away children. That's not his intention.
Yeah, then I don't know.
Unless he just doesn't want to do it. I don't know. He was cringe. And then Jane, his little keeper, looks like Ashley from Degrassi, which I don't know if you've ever seen Degrassi. Yeah. She does first season Degrassi. That's all I kept thinking about. I'm like, where's Drake?
The only thing I remember her from, in a big role that I remember watching a lot of was a series called Entourage.
Okay, she was in there.
She was in there too. Almost the same role.
The same exact. She was a producer for not a producer. What would that be called?
Not a personal assistant, but she was in PR.
She's the PR person
and she was in Entourage, and her quippiness is so good.
She's typecast as a PR.
I think she was, yeah.
And we have Mark, who is just adorable and cute and fun the whole time. And did you also know that Tobey Maguire was in this movie?
Yeah, but where?
They cut his parts out. He asked them to cut his parts out because he was having problems with alcohol, I guess, when it happened.
I thought he was like a kid at that point.
Well, he was still having problems with alcohol. He grew up with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm sure they went hard.
That's what when we were watching it, my cousin was here, and he's like, yeah, Tobey Maguire's in this movie. I'm like, where?
He was, and he asked for his roles to be. I heard two different things. I heard that he asked for his roles to be cut out, and I heard that there was filming conflicts or blah blah blah. I believe that he asked for his stuff to get cut out, or because I heard that he ended up in like the director's basement or something, eating cereal at 3 a.m. or it sounds like he wasn't all the way there when filming was happening. So it was probably best for his career that they did cut his scenes out. But I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see him as.
Oh, do they have another cut?
They have a full. Yes, they have an extended DVD, but you have to buy the extended. I don't know if Tobey Maguire's in the extended DVD. He might be on the cutting room floor forever. They might have said like that's the end. But when I was looking at the cast, I saw him in the cast list. I'm like, hey Toby, what you doing over there? And where were you?
Right.
Eddie's fun. Eddie's a fun character too. I feel like Mark and Eddie didn't have real big plot points.
No,
they were kind of there for comedic
relief. Exactly. They're the potheads.
And
right?
they did a good job. It was fun. I liked them. It was a good time.
It was.
When Mark was eating the brownies and he was seeing himself
on
so
the
good.
He was tripping.
Oh, it was but he never like freaks out, because if that was me,
he just laughed and shoved more
like,
brownie in his
mouth. Hot sweats, like,
the
fuck's going on? The fuck is going on? He's just like, it's funny. I'm like, I appreciate that. I appreciate someone who could be calm when their headspace goes that way.
Yeah, there's like no part. I'm like, I watched it because I hadn't seen it probably for maybe about 5-6 years. I'm like, okay, maybe this time around it's gonna be more, a little more mundane, a little boring. I'm like, I watched it again. I'm like, dude, I see why I liked it in the first place, because it was just.
It holds up.
It's just fun throughout the entire film.
And I can't believe it didn't do better, because
I
really liked it. I thought it was cool, and I usually don't like when I watch movies that people get hyped up about. I'm usually not into it, or I find something wrong with it right away.
That's what it did in the
It
box
only made
office.
$300,000.
$3,000.
Oh my!
What was their budget? Probably not high. Their
gosh.
budget was probably really low too.
10 million?
Shut the fuck up.
Dang. So
So that was a loser.
that was.
That was a big fat loser.
That's a big old flop right there. But I don't know.
It made
it's not.
$150,000 opening weekend.
But you said it only ran in
Warner
4
Brothers'
theaters.
fault. It's Warner Brothers' fault.
Absolutely, it's
They
their
didn't
fault.
push it.
They should have pushed it because it's great.
I think it's
like
fantastic.
it.
I don't know why they didn't test market it in multiple markets.
And
They just
that's
did the
what I'm
one
saying.
test
I never
market.
even heard of this movie.
Right,
That's
exactly.
a whole. I missed.
Yeah, exactly.
I grew up without this because I didn't even know it existed, and I'm sad I didn't know it existed because I really liked it. I liked the dynamics with the women. I thought was freaking great.
So good.
I loved it, and then but like everyone comes together, right? So it's kind of Breakfast Club like in the sense
That's
of
exactly what I was
everyone's
thinking too. Yeah.
misfits, and
Yeah,
we all have a
exactly.
common goal of
Right.
like. In Breakfast Club, they have a common goal of getting out of detention, but here they're literally saving their jobs, so it's kind of more important.
Saving their jobs. They're helping. That big part where they're helping Deborah out, kind of figure herself out.
That was great.
It really was.
Honestly, if I had a mental breakdown, I would hope that
Yeah.
somebody would throw me a funeral because.
Right.
And that's what I loved about Joe. Like Joe didn't walk out and be like, "What are you guys doing? You should be working." Blah blah. He sat there and he did the whole thing with him because he understands.
Right. That would have been a Mitch. That would have been a Mitch
thing
move.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Oh, a Mitch
What
move.
the fuck are you guys
That's
doing?
a Mitch move right there.
Yeah. Don't be a Mitch.
You're being an asshole.
Don't be a Mitch. Be a Joe.
Be a Joe. Be a Joe.
For
'Cause
sure.
Joe supports them in all aspects. And even when Gina and Rex Manning get found out and she's like, "Am I going to get fired?" He's like, "Have I fired anyone today?"
Exactly.
Like, you're not going to get
You're
fired.
not getting fired for-
Everybody
yeah.
makes mistakes. Everybody
Just go
messes
home,
up. Yeah, just leave,
just
which
go
she
home.
didn't, which is
She
great.
didn't. Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
it-
Go home, Gina. Yeah,
but they
that's
don't
what
want to because they have this family that they built, this odd family of like everybody comes together for this common goal and they like each other and everyone's different, but they accept everybody for their differences. Yes, the girls kind of get into it because, obviously Corey's upset that her best friend just had sex with the man that she thought she was going to lose her virginity to.
Right.
So there's going to be high tension running.
But she was over it pretty fucking quick.
She was
too.
over it quick. That's
which,
true.
Which is a teenage thing to do, right?
Yeah. And it's I guess, I see where her anger is coming from. I understand why she's upset.
For sure. Your friend just banged the dude you were supposed to use. Yeah, bad.
So
Bad juju.
you're kind of in shock, and they just had a conversation about Gina's sexuality in the first place, being saying that she was more promiscuous than she
right.
was. So yeah, I understand why she's upset. So but then that's what's so great about it is like they have this big blow up and everyone's fighting and everyone's mad and it's kind of like the point in the movie where we're like, where are we gonna go now? Like we can only go up from here. And they do. They all just like figure it out and it's like, listen, hey, you have a problem with drugs. I'm promiscuous. Deb has issues at home and this and that and this and that. But we can all come here and come together and come to this space.
It's their getaway.
And
their
that's
escape.
why
Yeah.
I love Lucas so much because he saved it.
Well,
Lucas is the reason why it's still
right?
going.
Honestly, a lot of it wouldn't have happened. There wouldn't have really been a end story had Lucas not lost all the money.
No, Lucas had
Right.
to lose the money for this to happen how it went down.
But that was pretty fucked up, quite honestly. He deserved to get his ass kicked.
He had a 50-50.
When he got dragged into the office and
Yeah.
got his ass whooped, he absolutely deserved that. But that was it. That was the end of it.
That's a good point. Two things that wouldn't age well was the literally employee, a
Getting
boss
his
beating an employee,
Right.
and when Warren comes back with a gun.
But what does he do? Have him arrested? He's not gonna have the kid arrested,
No,
right?
he's
Because
not
it would
gonna
have
have him
ruined his whole
arrested.
fucking life, right? He would have been in jail, in and out of jail.
No,
for the
he's
rest of his
doing,
life.
but we also find out that Joe is Lucas's father figure. So then we really kind of let it go because
Right.
we know that because Lucas says that Joe
Yeah,
found
yeah,
him when he was 13.
Right.
And he's
Yeah,
pretty
the
much
whole
raised
story.
them from that point.
Right.
So we understand that Joe and Lucas have a father-son more dynamic than anybody else.
We get a lot of explanation stories of everybody's backstory on the couch and everywhere else. So
in
I don't
little
know.
bits, it
Yeah,
comes through. Because at first, when you're like, this is so scattered and everywhere, and like I don't know what's going
it's
on,
all over the place.
and you don't think it's gonna come together, but it does.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my friend who wanted me to watch it, shout out to Amy. She.
I thought it was Amy.
It was. I only have two friends,
Hi, Amy.
so you had a 50-50 chance of picking the right one. And we were walking yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, I only watched the beginning of it." She said, "How do you think about it?" And I'm like, "Hey, I don't want to make you mad, but I'm not super into it." And she's like, finish it. You have to watch it to the end. So I go home, I watch it to the end, and then I call her and I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. It fully came together. I was way in the beginning of it, and at first it doesn't make sense, but without that ending, it, you know, that's what brings it all together. And we, you know, having the funeral and then here, like, that's really when everyone kind of really lets their guard down too. It's all that, it's like closer to the end.
Sure.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It all
was great.
folded in together. And
It was
I
a great
thought I
story.
wasn't going to like it. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised at myself.
I thought that you were going to start watching it and be like, oh, this is fucking lame.
That's exactly
And
what
then
happened.
at some point, you're going to be like, this is kind of fun.
No, that's exactly what
That's
happened, like
fantastic.
to the T. I was
Oh,
like, and when the first night I've watched it a couple times now, but the first start of it, I was pretty tired. It was late. I put it on, and I get what Ethan was saying with ads. Like, there's ads on it, so it does kind of take you out of it because you're like in it, and then it's like, you know,
An
here's
ad.
this, and you're
Yeah,
like, oh,
I don't need a fucking commercial break.
But when I was younger, I had commercial breaks for everything.
Right.
That was all the time.
But
Now
we're like this now.
I know.
Everything's
Now
like
I can't
this.
handle
You want
it.
the fucking stream of fuck Hulu for having
now
all the
I
ads.
have to wait 5 seconds to hit my
skip.
skip, and I
Exactly.
can't handle it.
You know what? That's probably the only good thing about watching it on something like YouTube versus watching it on Hulu is you can skip.
This ad, you
The
can't
ad.
skip ads
You
on
can't-
Hulu.
Hulu, you got to watch the whole minute 30.
Ew.
You're kind of fucked.
The whole thing?
It's like a whole TV show.
Ew.
It's like watching
I don't-
old school TV.
See, I don't
Sorry,
have Hulu.
for those
so
of
I
you
don't
that
know.
have television and have to endure commercials, I feel for you.
Who? All 12 of you? Who's still watching regular cable
Well, I mean, we
with
have like
commercials?
what 10 viewers, so at least 3 of them have
You think
TV.
that many?
How many of you actually have like satellite or regular television through their TV provider, not streaming services, not Netflix or Disney Plus, but actually watch through Spectrum or Charter?
Old school cable.
Yeah, actual cable. How many of you actually watch that? I want to see. Maybe we'll put up a vote or a tally, a poll on freaking one of the socials.
If you have cable or if you don't.
Speaking of social, if you guys didn't know, we do have other social media platforms that we post this to. One of them being TikTok. Who controls all these? Well, she does. And holy crap, do I have to give her some fucking kudos. One of our videos that she posted probably about a week, not even a week ago, it's probably been about 5 days now. We're at almost 4.5 million views.
We're
on that one.
at 3 days, I think. It's only been 3 days.
3 days?
This might be the 4th
I think
day.
it was Friday, right?
We've hit about 1 million a day.
1 million a day.
You know, it's funny. It's fun and exciting, and I love it. Everyone wants their video to blow up because it's so exciting, but it's random.
Oh, it is. I know. It's just the algorithm going.
That's
I'm
also
gonna
why we're called
push
Random
this shit
Rewrites.
out of this. Exactly.
and I had a movie clip in it, so I feel like it hits bigger because I had the movie clip in it.
I couldn't put those in the video because they were too long. We would have got flagged.
We would
immediately got copywritten.
I figured if we're gonna get copywritten, it's better to do it in short form than in long form.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I'd rather get a short form video taken down.
And we were talking about Nintendo, so I'm like, okay, well, our revenue
Double
might
whammy.
get taken anyway.
Double whammy.
So what's it matter? But honestly, it was cool because if you guys have came from that video and you're still following along with us, I really appreciate it because it was a great way to show people what we are or what we're having, and that's like literally having discussions and arguments about things from the past. You know, we're rewinding it back. So now since that video exploded, it's like now people, if you want to follow along with us and you want to keep going, it's like, here we are. We're still doing it. We're doing it the same. And you just never know what you're going to get.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no. I never know what we're going to get. Because
if I'm involved, nobody knows what's happening.
That's true. So this was actually her idea was, I like to, when I'm watching something and I see something really cool and interesting, like I'll watch with my other buddy that I have another podcast with. When we see something that's, hey, this is really interesting. Here's a short clip from whatever it is. Yeah. We don't discuss that at all. We didn't talk anything about this movie before we sat down here. I didn't even know if she liked the movie when I handed her this badge. So I had no idea.
You handed me this today.
That's what I'm saying. When I handed you this badge, I didn't know whether you liked or disliked the movie.
No, yeah, because we don't want to discuss it before we're going.
So it has more of a natural.
It has to be organic. And listen, I'm getting so much crap in the comments from that video about my Italian accent, and I didn't prep. We prepped that episode to be about Mario, and I was in the mindset of pure gaming. I was in the gaming mindset.
Oh yeah.
So bringing up this movie, I'm literally bringing up my memory from what 1993. I was 4. Okay, so I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do say it with an Italian accent because everyone says Mario like that.
I went to the store today to go pick up these lanyards. As a matter of fact, this morning.
This
This morning.
Wow.
Not this part, but the lanyard part. I went to go pick up the lanyards this morning, and some mom with her daughter's asking, "Can we go look at the video games?" Oh, would you like to go look at the Mario games? And she's like, yeah, let's go look at Mario. And the mom goes, it's me, a Mario.
Thank you.
Fucking everywhere. Chris Pratt. I mean, I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's no offense to the Italian community in whatso shape or form. It's Mario Brothers.
It's just how you say Mario,
how he says
because
his
everyone
freaking name since the fucking 80s.
It's me, Mario.
And I say it every day. Let's go.
Let's
I
go.
always say pizza go.
A pizza go.
Oh, I always say it's pizza go because that's what I
pizza
remember
go.
hearing when I was a kid.
And that's what I was saying about that movie clip is like we say Mario, Luigi, Mario
Yeah.
all the time just randomly. And of course when we do it we're going to emphasize it because it's more fun.
Of course.
So I'm going off my brain from 1993
Yeah.
plus something I say all the time.
No.
So yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a good Italian accent. I'm also not Italian. I didn't want to be offensive. I was just trying to be like Mario.
It's because it's
It's
Mario.
to me.
Yeah.
It's a Mario
Yeah,
thing.
it's no appropriation here. This has to literally do with the video game
It-
franchise. It's
I
a whole
and
IP.
I wasn't trying. Yeah, I
No, no, no.
definitely wasn't trying to
I know
hurt
you weren't.
feelings. And people were bashing me. They're like, "Who's that? Taylor Swift trying to be Italian?" I'm like,
Maybe.
"No, but cool." Like,
Thanks for the freaking
Thanks.
comparison, homie.
no, but honestly, thank you for your support. Thank you if you're still here. I really appreciate it. If you want to keep seeing our dumb faces, follow along because we're gonna keep going.
Dumb face.
I said both of us.
Oh,
If I talk shit collectively, unless it's about controllers, then I get heated. But
Yeah.
we're both. That's
Especially this fucking thing. Because you have 3 hands.
Could you imagine when like comes out of my stomach?
So you're all ha ha.
Like I got this.
So back to the movie though. What would you rate this movie
Oh,
if you had
man.
to rate this movie?
What's our scale?
Because you have to rate this movie.
I'm gonna do it either way.
yeah.
What's our scale?
It's the 1 to 10, just like last time.
1 to 10.
So last time you retracted and
I
gave the previous
retracted.
movie negative 15 and just kidding, a 3.
I started with a 5.5 and I went down to 3.
3, yeah.
This one,
I gave it a 4, right? Yeah.
yeah, you did a 4. So
Yeah.
this movie, I think I'm going to give it a
A solid
solid 7.
solid 7. That's fair. I was gonna give it a 7.5. So
A 7.5.
That's
Well,
good.
I think as soon as you said solid, I was like, maybe I
Okay,
should do
you know
halves.
what? You can do half. You can do a half. You can do a quarter. You can do like a.
No, I'm gonna
smidge.
stick to
You're gonna
my 7.
Yeah, you know what? Seven's a very fair rating for this movie because it's not the best movie in the world, obviously, but it was so much fun to watch that I would absolutely recommend. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link in the description down below on YouTube so you can watch it on YouTube until it's no longer free on YouTube.
It's a, you know what it
the
is?
link will be good until the link is no good.
It's a feel-good movie because yes, there's conflict, but there's never like if you're anxious or you have anxiety and you don't like to watch stuff where there's too much going on or there's too much bad going on.
Right.
It's a very nice feel-good movie because everything, does fall into place and it's just it's a chill vibe. I can't believe I said vibe. Oh my gosh. My brother-in-law is going to give me so much shit for that.
Why?
Because in the first episode, how it was cut,
Yeah.
it sounded like I said this is a vibe like 100 times. And I tried to tell him, like, okay, but we're like filming a lot and then it gets chopped up. But now he calls me vibe. And I just said it again. And now I'm like,
her nickname
shit.
is gonna be Brittany
Don't
Vibe.
Don't give him that. And I also today, he said,
Hashtag Brittany Vibe.
he said that my orange hat was distracting because he has ADHD. So I wanted to be a sister and do something even more loud and obnoxiously annoying to distract, but I didn't find anything. So I know.
You
next
need to tell
time,
me these things.
I have like a whole rainbow thing that I was going to wear, but then it's cold outside, so I didn't wear it today.
I know, what the fuck is this weather?
I don't know.
Boo. Anyway,
I know, but we don't want cold weather. We're wetter.
we're over it.
Wetter.
We talked about that last time. We're ready for fucking summer.
Yeah, and then it got hot, and then it stopped.
Yeah, we were snowboarding in freaking t-shirts.
How was
and
that?
So nice. It was
Springboarding.
So nice.
There's nothing better.
So nice.
There's nothing
And
better
then
than
yesterday it was whiteout conditions. We weren't there though, so we're like.
You're like, we're leaving.
Yes, we're outta here.
The weather's coming. We're out.
Yeah, we're
We
outta
don't
here.
need. We
No.
don't need it no more. We don't want real snow.
No, fuck that. I like the ice. It's fine.
I don't mind
slush.
ice. I like slush. Oh, well, because
Yeah.
I always went to.
Mountain High.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so it's always
it's
slush
ice
and
and
ice.
slush.
Yeah, you get used. You know, you really learn how to snowboard when you go to Mountain High.
And that's where I learned. So
Our video.
I'm used to it. I like it. back on track to this movie. Did you know that Robin Tunney, who played Deb, shaved her head for real?
Yeah.
And she had to wear a wig when she filmed The Craft.
Yes.
Because it was
right
1 month.
after. Yeah,
it was
right
literally a
afterwards.
month in between.
Yeah,
And
that I was aware.
that wasn't in the script.
What?
She
that
came
was,
up with that.
that was ad-lib kind of, she threw it in there?
Which is insane because
It fit the
shaving
part,
your,
though.
Oh, it fit the part.
It fit the part perfectly. She just attempted to unalive herself, and then she went into the bathroom and shaved her head. It fit, like, it was the perfect moment of that 90s. I mean, I'm sure it happens today too, but it was very that 90s bit. I actually knew.
For sure.
I had friends that were identical her, like to the T.
That was like, I remember being a kid, and then I remember seeing a girl like that in 90s, like either a camp counselor or who knows what, and I thought they were so cool. I'm like, this person is awesome and this and that. And because I just kind of liked the whole scenery, kind of like that, you know, that edgy 90s feel was awesome. And the thing is, like, even when she unfortunately, you know, she does slit and she shaves her head and all this, but nobody treats her any different, right?
No,
they say, hey,
they don't.
What's going on?
Other than the one point where fucking Gina gives her a hard time, but other than that,
but they hate each other, so it's like we know that's gonna happen, and she knows it's gonna happen because she fires right back at Gina. Deb and Gina have that. At first, I'm like, are they secretly best friends? Because they almost banter back and forth. You know, you talk shit to your friends.
Yeah, but they were like, you're right, but they almost knew, like, they knew exactly what to say, when to say it, or they just know how to press each other's buttons so well.
Exactly, and when they get that Music Town paper, Deb even said, she's like, let's not fight, let's just rip, and it's like, it gave me more of a best friends kind of feel more than Gina and Corey did.
Corey, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But because I talk shit to all my friends, like if I talk shit to you, that means I like you.
That's good.
And I'm the kind of person that's like, I'm not gonna.
Oh, you like me then? She talks shit to me all the time.
I do, but that means I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah,
English?
no, it absolutely makes sense though. The friendship, the dynamics between all of them is really spot on, and it really pinpoints a lot of, again, the stereotypes of the 90s and today too. Quite honestly.
But it's special. It's like, I want to work here.
I would love.
Here.
That's what Ethan said. He was like, I'd want to work in a record store.
Of course,
like,
yes,
of
I
course
want this dynamic. I want a bunch of people to have my back no matter what. I literally want to go into the bathroom, shave my head, walk out, and be like, that's cool.
Thing. Yeah,
like it's no big deal.
Now I'm gonna make buttons and I'm gonna fucking sell them around the store. Okay.
Exactly, but
it wasn't even like pushed to do. She just made buttons.
Nobody bats an eye to anything, and I think a lot of that has to do with Joe just accepting everyone for who they are. I mean, enough so that he gives a job to Warren, who first of all shoplifted and then comes back shooting up the place with blanks, but still. And he's still
that
willing.
wouldn't have flown today. You know,
it wouldn't. Not only would that not have flown today, but you 2 hours later would not be having a party at that location because it would have been
totally locked down,
it
taped
would have,
off.
Unfortunately, we know all too well situations where that does really happen.
Right.
So of course this doesn't age well since this has happened. It's not funny anymore.
Because if that was to happen in a store, it wouldn't have been the store manager's decision to have called the cops. It would have been every other customer in the store.
No, and it would have. And I get it. I understand the intense moment, and Deb's the one who saves the day because she just walks straight into it in front of it, and she doesn't care. But I think she also knows that Warren cares, or she sees a soul that she can, I think a kindred soul kind of. Like they're like, hey, don't worry, I feel how you feel. Or like she says to Corey, we're all fucked up. Everybody's fucked up. So let's just be cool with each other because we all make mistakes or we all have differences. It's like, let's just all get along and they came together for a common goal, which was to save the store from turning into a music town.
Yeah, fucking music town.
Oh, music town.
Are you any of these characters? Or were you in high school any of these characters?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, she's going to plead the fifth. Yeah, I can't pinpoint one that I am because I don't have as much chill.
I'll tell you who I want to be like.
Who?
Lucas.
You want to be like Lucas?
I want to be like Lucas because
to a certain degree, he has no fucks.
He doesn't, but I believe that he knew exactly what he was doing the entire time. When he said to Joe, "You're not happy," I think he needed a bold move. Right? Okay, that's right, because that lady comes in very beginning of the movie.
Yes.
He lets her in. We don't know what happens, But then it cuts to him all worried about closing. She comes in, says, a bold act changes history. And then now he's a whole new mindset, and he's smoking the cigars he's not supposed to touch. He's drinking the beer. And who knows what happened with her.
Playing the drums.
And that's when he makes,
drums.
and he's not supposed to play the drums. And that's when that decision is made. And I personally think that he knew he was going to lose that money. And he did it on purpose.
I don't think he knew he was going to lose the money. I think he genuinely thought he was going to win.
He was going to win.
Because he's got that, like, whatever that kind of insane luck that he had to begin with. Yeah, the moxie, right. So he had that luck going in, and then, luck does run out. And
it does.
Hit the brakes, and then all of it was
But
gone.
I think he knew. I don't know. There's something inside me that makes me believe that Lucas knew what he was doing from the beginning, and that it worked out exactly how he wanted it to work out. Like, to the T. Also, I just noticed the googly eyes on the camera.
You just noticed that?
Well, when you were out, I noticed it.
I put them up just a moment. When is she going to point them out?
I'm like, that's so cute.
I have a tub of googly eyes.
It's perfect.
Some of them are big. I was trying to put the giant ones on the GoPro.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been hilarious. Oh, it's great. Honestly, it makes me, I know exactly where my camera is, and now I'm staring at the eyes of this, with a big old mouth. Yeah. This googly eye person.
I'm going to guess a lot of people haven't seen this.
That's true, because I didn't see it. But there should be some sort of time. When does spoiler go away? Like, is there a
time frame for when you can no longer need to say
when you don't have to say it anymore?
Is it like a year?
I think it should be like...
As soon as it hits DVD?
Maybe 10 years.
That's
too long?
I'm going to say as soon as it hits DVD.
Then
as soon as it leaves the theater. I'm going to say that's... Sorry, if you haven't seen it, don't watch shows like this.
That's true. Because or by that time, you could have probably, if you wanted to see it, you could have probably already watched it on the internet or pirated or figured out some way to see it.
There were so many pirating things to watch movies back then, too. There are now, too, but I don't
back in the day, there used to be a lot. Oh my gosh, and we'd all mess up our computers with LimeWire.
Every fucking one of us. LimeWire.
And then you'd get a song and be so excited, and then it wouldn't be the song and be like, beats on this show, big hit. And you're like, what the heck?
Yeah,
or like, www. And like, dang it, I want the song.
So much trash on there. That and fucking Napster fucking ruined all of
I never did Napster, but I
love Napster
I did LimeWire.
It was so simple.
It was easier to do.
It was easier to use.
Really? Because I couldn't figure it out.
No.
But I might have went into it after.
Yeah, it was a very stripped down freaking downloader. And it was really, really easy to use. I feel the record industry fucking shut it down prematurely. I think that they should have embraced it and taken it over. They should have bought it out.
But that's every company does that, and they never do, and then they go under.
Thanks, Metallica. Just kidding. Because it was Metallica was the biggest freaking outspoken against Napster.
And I get it, because you don't want your art to be just stolen. I understand that. But go steer into the skid, right?
Yeah.
We are changing the way. We're not going backwards. We're going forward.
About 5 years later, 6 years later, everything took the fucking... Every CD went, CDs. Now check this shit out. Then fucking, Netflix started taking off for movies and different audio. I think Apple Music came out then.
Yeah, because Netflix used to send DVDs in the mail. That was their highest thing before the streaming.
Did you know Netflix just shut down their operations?
Yeah, for DVDs, I had no idea.
What the fuck?
Who was ordering DVDs?
Yeah. They just closed it. I think the last DVD is going to go out this year.
You know that there was some grandma over there ordering movies for her kids. Like,
I guess so, man.
Where would you even do that? I've had Netflix for almost 10 years, and they've never even offered me DVDs. Where are they getting this?
I don't know. I've seen red boxes. Like in like grocery stores in rural towns. I still see those.
We have a red box.
Do we really?
Yes, where Ross is next to that CVS, or it's out front of that CVS.
Oh.
Where Wendy's is in that shopping center.
Yeah. And there?
There's a red box in there. I don't know if it works, but there's one over there.
There's a box that's red that has DVDs in it.
Yeah, you can rent DVDs from this spot. So, it counts as a red box.
Speaking of record store, do you remember going into record stores and buying music? And if so, what was your first record you ever personally bought?
A record?
First full album of something.
The first album I ever bought with my own money that I went to the store, which it wasn't a record store, it was Best Buy, because we didn't have much options.
Yeah.
So I went to Best Buy and I bought Offspring's Americana. That was my very first CD that I bought on my own. What was yours?
That one. 311 Grassroots.
Grassroots in 1994?
The first CD I ever bought.
I like 311.
Because I just recorded tapes off of the fucking... so when we were growing up, we didn't have like a whole lot of music options until my dad decided he's going to buy a stereo for the household. So I started listening to radio, and that's when I fell in love with K-Rock.
Uh-huh.
Because then I could record music.
Go-to.
Yeah. So I'd find my parents like tapes, like they were very religious. They had a lot of gospel stuff. I'd record right over that shit. Or put
honey.
tape over the freaking little thing because you break out the little tabs, you can't record over it.
Yeah.
So you put Scotch tape over it and you can record whatever the fuck you want.
Oh my
So, like,
gosh. Okay, so you were into it. I mean, I was into it, but not this much. I was
Yeah.
into it enough where I had a favorite song and I knew that it was on the top 9 at 9 countdown or whatever it was. So I would go in my room and I would turn on the radio at 9 or 8 or whatever the time the top was, and I would wait for this song to play every single night. And that was, it was Green Day. Was it Brain Stew? Do you have the time? That song.
Yeah.
That was, I still remember being my first favorite song.
That's
where
awesome.
I would go out of my way to listen to the radio because I knew it was going to be on the top countdown at the time. But trying to record it onto the tape, I never got it right. Or I just had a shitty setup because I tried.
Ours
I
was
tried
pretty
so
much
hard.
just like that right there, and you just press record.
And you had to hit it at the same, I don't know, I had a kid's one, and you would try to record the tape to it.
Got
so
it.
CD, and I didn't work with tapes very long. CDs came out
That
not
makes
too
sense,
long
though.
when I really started getting into music.
Yeah.
So I was more onto CDs, and then when streaming came out, I was poor. I was a poor kid, and free music, that blew my mind. I might have ruined a computer or two, but
no,
I
free
had...
music was awesome. Yeah, we were broke as fuck.
I had my burnt CDs.
Yeah.
Like you
Oh
write
yeah,
on
no,
it.
you buy the pack of CDs and just burn the shit out of everything. Oh, can I borrow that so I can burn it really quick?
Yep.
It was fucking awesome.
And I was the only one who knew how to burn CDs, so that was kind of like, I guess I was the techie sort of person in our friend group in elementary school. Because I knew how to do it. I was like, I'll burn a CD, or what songs do you want on it? And it was neat. It was a cool way to be creative. Like, yeah, we were stealing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be stealing, but like, I really wanted to listen to music.
But did we really think about it though when we were freaking in school? Because we weren't physically taking anything tangible out of a store. We weren't physically taking anything. So did I think of it as stealing? I didn't. I thought of it the same exact way as recording a song on the radio.
Yeah.
So I didn't think there's anything wrong with it. That's why I said that I feel like the record labels, they missed the boat early on when they could have been ahead of the game.
They could have been ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But they never are. So
No.
it's
Fuck record
people
labels.
get freaked out with people get really
Damn the
freaked
man.
out. Damn the man. People get freaked out by change. And I'm talking about change here, and obviously we don't want this record store to change at all. They just don't want it to turn into a chain store, which makes sense.
Right, they wanted to stay the mom and pop.
They want a mom and pop shop, which I think we need more of, honestly. I wish we had
all the Walmarts of the world destroyed all these freaking stores, the Amazons and everything else,
nephew, he's 15, and he's into records. Like, he's
So
got
Ethan.
a whole record collection.
So does Ethan.
And I'm like, I'm in this disconnect here because I've never even heard a record on a record player.
No?
Never.
Oh, you're kidding. We'll have to play some music.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll bust one out.
And according to the movie, it sounds better. What's his name? Eddie. He's like, gotta hear it on vinyl.
It's really like perception, right? You get the crackling and the popping, and you get the little bit of a. Is it better? I don't know. Digital copies are
Probably
to me
better.
always better. They always sound cleaner and crisper, and you just get that nostalgic feel when you hear a record, I guess. And some people really appreciate that.
I was gonna say, since I never had that nostalgic feel, I don't know if I would.
I prefer good digital quality audio because I can hear every tone and every sound, and that to me sounds more impeccable. But I have an appreciation for shit that's on vinyl.
Yeah, because it's supposed to just hit different. Or
Right.
How do you feel about live music?
I love live music.
Do you? You're a live music person?
Depends on the band.
Yeah.
Absolutely depends
But
on the band.
you don't. If you go to a restaurant, do you care if there's a band playing?
No.
No, you're all
I want to go
in
to a
live
restaurant
music.
to eat. I want to. If I'm going to a restaurant, I want to fucking eat.
I just want to eat. I
I
don't
don't
care
need
what's going
fucking
on.
somebody. The only time that I went to a restaurant that I thought the band was fucking phenomenal was at this pub in Germany. It's not really a pub; it's a giant fucking bar, and a polka band was playing. And it
A
fit
polka band in Germany?
Yeah,
That
this
sounds
is-
so much
this
fun.
Giant freaking warehouse of a fucking beer. It was it's called the Hofbräu House. They have one in Vegas. They duplicated it.
Oh, so I can
duplicated.
go.
They made it really small, but it's a small version of it in Vegas. Yeah, you can.
I'll still want to go to the German bar.
Yeah, they have good beer.
Okay,
They have real good beer.
but they have music.
But they have music. They have a
See,
polka band. And they have reasonably decent food. It's bar food, but it's still decent food.
I'm literally probably the only person in the world who's not a fan of live music.
Really?
It's not my favorite.
It's
And
not-
I used
it's
to
not.
work in a music venue
Right.
where live music was playing all the time.
Again, depends on the band. It really
And I
does.
like it, and I maybe it's because I wasn't exposed to many concerts, and you kind of get
Maybe.
stuck.
I wasn't either.
You get stuck with
I did
your
not at all, actually.
CD, or you listen to it over and over, and so you
Yeah.
get so used to that. So it was always harder for me. But when somebody is performing live and it sounds like how it does, like the CD, it's like then you're like, whoa, like
Yeah.
okay, that they didn't do anything to
Enhance their audio.
enhance it, like, they just can
I
sing.
think that's a big problem when it comes to live music. It's a lot of times it doesn't sound. Like
it'll
what you
it'll
remember.
sound different.
Where my favorite band, and I've taken Ethan when he was younger. I took him probably about 3 or 4 times to see Linkin Park. Linkin Park's probably one of my favorite fucking bands, and just to listen to them play is just so fucking
See,
phenomenal
and-
because they sound identical.
And
to,
I'm jealous because I literally Linkin Park was a huge part of my life.
Right.
Huge. That hybrid theory.
oh yeah,
Oh my gosh. And I was in 8th grade and somebody gave it to me and it changed my freaking life. Like I listened to that non-stop and I will never have the opportunity to see them live now. You know what I mean?
Not
Like
as a whole band. no.
I won't get to see the with Chester Bennington,
With Chester
the original
Bennington,
lead
right.
singer.
Yeah, rest in peace, Chester
I know,
Bennington. I
R.I.P.
still freaking such an excellent freaking musician, but I mean I understand his headspace was
Oh,
somewhere else, and it
absolutely.
had been for decades.
I know, and it's heartbreaking. And I remember I just had my second kid on the 19th, and he passed on the 20th.
Oh, that's
And I remember
crazy.
only thinking about that, like that had me all messed up. It's like, oh, you just had a baby, and I was so grateful and so happy that I just had a baby, but it did throw me off. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that he
Right.
is gone. Like such an influence in my life for so long is just now not here anymore.
Right.
But I'll always have their music, so
Of course,
you
you
know,
can
to
always
leave
always appreciate the band's music.
to leave a legacy like that
Oh, it's insane.
is insane.
It's nuts.
I
Just
mean-
like I used to be a huge fan. I mean, I still am, but not as big a fan of a band called U2, right?
Uh-huh.
Everybody's heard of fucking
Everyone
U2.
knows U2.
Bono has done, and U2 as a whole has done more for
Misty.
most countries than any other band in the fucking world, right?
Yeah.
They
What,
just,
like philanthropy?
yeah. Like the amount of
Philanthropy?
money they raised to help out AIDS-ridden countries and third world
So
countries.
he's using his influence for good.
For a lot of it, like
Yeah.
a lot of good. So
Good.
it's really
why is,
impressive.
Why is they not your favorite now? Because they're not doing much?
I don't know. No, not that. It's just their music. I used to love their music, and I kind of like their music.
So you're
still.
the one person who liked when their Apple phone came with the YouTube album on it, or do you remember when
So
that
I
happened?
have the original iPod. That's the U2 iPod. That's got
Uh-huh.
all their signatures
I
on
was
the
gonna,
back.
but do you
I have it in
remember
the box.
when that happened, or
What's that?
when they gave everyone the YouTube album for like Apple?
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, because
YouTube?
it came with the iPod.
And well, people were mad about it, or
Yeah.
they didn't like it. But I'm saying since you were a fan,
had
you
to
were probably
download it.
stoked on it.
You had to download it still.
Oh, I thought it was already
It wasn't
on
on
there.
there. You had to download
Well, then
it.
what were people complaining
I
about?
don't know.
Ugh.
You could not buy that version. You could
People-
buy the regular version. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that was an exclusive
One off.
to
Yeah, a
just
specific
that.
U2. Like I still have the box and packaging and all that
Yeah.
stuff for it. I'll put a picture right here. It was the original U2 edition
They had
of
a
the
whole
iPod.
edition and everything.
Yeah. It
Okay.
was really fucking cool.
I thought people were just mad. I just remember it being a thing where people were mad that it was there, or they didn't like it, or
Yeah.
that's how I remember
Yeah.
it. You know what? I probably watched one video of somebody complaining about it, and now
Probably.
that's my perception
Right,
of the
exactly.
entire thing, because my perception is going to be whatever
Right.
my brain decides it to be.
I still had to log into iTunes at the time
And download it?
download the entire album.
Okay. See,
Yeah, so it wasn't on there.
So I just don't know who's complaining.
Yeah.
The only thing we can do from this point now, right this second, is take $9,000 and go to Vegas and put it on craps.
9,300 whatever the
Right, yeah,
fuck it
what
was.
it was, exactly what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, I can't remember what the total
And
amount was.
we have to count it twice.
Yeah, I counted
has to be counted twice.
I counted it myself. I counted it twice.
Joe told me to count it twice.
Joe told me to count it twice. That's right.
And rule number 2, always listen to Joe.
Always listen to Joe.
I would listen to Joe. If he was my mentor, I'd be like, oh yeah, Joe, whatever you say, you're cool. You got my back.
Yeah.
Joe-
You really did.
Joe's a real one. Joe's
Again.
number 1.
Be a Joe.
Be a Joe.
Damn
In
straight.
a world full of Mitches, be a Joe. And that's all we have for today.
That's our show. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, if you can hit that little button down there that's got a little thumbs up on there, and follow along by hitting that subscribe and that stupid little bell. Damn.
It's not stupid. The bell is fine.
Damn bell.
You hit that bell if you want us to pop up as soon as we post something.
Yes, please.
But we're just happy you're here. Thanks for coming.
And if you've made it this far, awesome to you guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, till next time.
That's it. Bye.
See ya.
No, wait, we have to do improv warm-ups. So,
Oh.
me. You.
Our fucking.